So one thing about the Arkham games that I actually have, in a sense, always appreciated was the fact that I was able to play them way, way after they were launched. I remember playing Arkham City as the very first one that I ever kind of touched, and then I played Arkham Asylum for a little bit. As much as that story, in my opinion, is probably one of the really cool stories in the saga, I still enjoy the gameplay that had already been improved upon from the other Arkham iterations. I'm making this video because I just wanted to give a, kind of a pointer to something that I think is pretty cool. No one is asking me to do this, and I just think it's pretty interesting because I've been wanting to pull the, trigger on this for a long time, and that is getting the good old games version of the Arkham games. I recently finally, went ahead and just did it. I bought the 3 Arkham games. They're actually on sale right now. They're like $4.99 for Arkham City Game of the Year edition. I think this one has all of the content in it, so keep that in mind. And then Arkham Origins, but Arkham Origins does not have, or did not have, an edition that had everything on PC that I know of. So the season pass is also for sale. And then Batman Arkham Knight, which is the premium edition, and it has 1 DLC added. I don't know how much, or I don't know what that DLC content is, but I think the premium version is probably the one that's got everything in it, and I got it on goodoldgames.com. Now, some of you are probably thinking of coming to PC, and, for the most part, your biggest concern is, well, you're probably not going to maintain ownership of your games, especially if you value that, side of things. And I think, that is it's a genuine concern, because there are not a lot of stores that actually allow for you to be able to go ahead and, play the games that you actually want to play, or own the games that you want to own. In fact, what's really cool, too, is Amazon has been giving out their free games, if you have Prime, on Good Old Games as well, which really does improve and, in my opinion, enhance the the fact that you actually have the ownership of these games once downloaded. So my Cyberpunk 2077 version is from here. My Horizon Zero Dawn version, even though I haven't played a lot of it, is from here. My Witcher 3 version is from here. A bunch of these other ones are demos, but I also have my Sleeping Dogs here. These are the ones that I actually did buy. For the most part, many of these are giving them promotions. Shadow of War, I don't know, do they have Shadow of Mordor here? I think they have Shadow of Mordor here, and then Dishonored 2, and so on and so forth. I think I bought Disco Elysium. I really wanted to own that game. I haven't played it. Maybe when I have time. I don't really have a lot of time, folks. But Arkham City is the way, in regard to how I kind of made my, is the I would say the entry point for me. And I was like, man, I really would love to own this game, and I'm really, really looking forward to it, because you can download, offline backup game installers. You could just download the files only if you anticipate limited internet access and you want to have a backup. They don't pretty much support any updating or online features. You can also just download and install the Good Old Games Galaxy. So this is basically how you're going to go ahead and do it. You're just going to download the installers, and then you can basically use these files to pretty much just install. So yes, there is some downloading that goes into this, but it's kind of a one-time thing. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. And even if you install the game with Good Old Games Galaxy, you can remove Good Old Games Galaxy and not have any need to update the games anyways, and you're going to have that version of the game. So it's actually pretty cool overall. Now that we've been talking about, a lot of what we've seen from Warner Brothers' game studios and so on and so forth, I think it's really interesting, to see how these games are able to, pretty much hold their own. They have their shortcomings. I'll be the first to say that. I've made my videos saying things like that. But at the end of the day, they're actually pretty interesting titles when you actually, consider all things. I really, really do enjoy them. There's no doubt about that. Having played the Arkham games and even Arkham Knight, which is my favorite from a gameplay perspective, I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And for those of you who may be wondering, let me go ahead and show you, I'm sure you're probably wondering with the Arkham Knight, files and so on and so forth. You have basically the installer files here, about 13 of them. Then you also have the DLCs, which this is a way we can look at them. So you can see the season pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My guess is all of these installation files probably include Matter of Family, Harley Quinn, the Red Hood DLC, and so on and so forth. I'll have to install it to kind of give you guys an update. But, again, I own the game on Steam, and that's where I've put in a lot of hours. But I do like the fact fact of, you know, getting that version that you can actually keep without any DRMs or any of those things. And I mean, who wouldn't want to play it all over again, you know, other than the Slade Wilson tank fight and the Arkham Knight tank fight and the Joker. Anyways, you know, other than those things, you know, you know, you have a lot of gameplay out of it just to kind of revisit old titles and so on and so forth. You know, it's very interesting to be able to kind of like, you know, see that in motion. And many people might be thinking, you know, so does this mean you can play it on any computer? Yeah, you can play it on any computer that you own. Now, keep in mind that these are also guided by license agreements. So that's also something that, you know, you'd have to pay very close attention to. You don't want to go do anything that violates whatever the rules are that have been written and, you know, or whatever permissions you have. So it gives you that ownership based on, you know, the limited ownership anyways that you've been granted. But it's actually something that's actually pretty cool that even with that, you still have more freedom because the game doesn't necessarily lock you in regard to all of the above. But these are my thoughts so far, you know, and like I said, you know, seeing how we've been talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League being an online only game, seeing how, you know, it's not really gotten the best reception because, you know, a lot of players would love to have some ownership, you know, surrounding the games that they play. The online only thing is, you know, it rubs off wrong on a lot of people. I can see where there's a point to it, but at the same time, I would argue that if you're going to charge for a full price game, then to justify an online-only game has to come with a lot of content in my eyes. I'm hoping that Gotham Knights makes it to the Good Old Games store. You know, it hasn't made it there yet. Maybe one day, maybe soon it will because of, you know, the way it was received. The game did decently in sales. I'm sure people didn't pay attention because the month it came out, not a lot of games came out, you know, in that same month, nor did a lot of really heavy hitters come out afterwards or before. So it kind of did do its own thing. So I'm hoping we get Gotham Knights there as well. Even though Gotham Knights, you can buy a disc version or a version on your console, you know, that you can still, you know, lay claim to and still be able to use if you don't have an internet connection. Those are still really, really cool things that, you know, we have available in regard to some of these titles. And so these are ways that, you know, you can continue to just have custodial, you know, management of your own games if you were probably trying to make sure that you have a copy that you could keep and play whenever and wherever it is that you wanted. And, you know, again, for those of you who may or may not know, these versions that I've just showed you are actually the 60 FPS versions as well. These are the versions that, you know, on PC, they play at 60 FPS. I think there's a way to, you know, kind of unlock the 60 FPS in one of these other titles, but I don't remember. I think you have to do it in a way where you got one old update or whatever it is. But if at any rate you eventually get a gaming PC, maybe you're curious or whatever, you have one and you've never really, you know, dusted it off, then, you know, you can enjoy the 60th version of the Arkham games. All of them play more than 60 FPS. Even if you go into the game files and unlock the frame rate, you're really going to get some really cool benefit out of that. All right, that's pretty much my video for today. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys' time and audience. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Hopefully we'll be talking soon in another one. Peace out.